It was a bright Saturday morning when I decided to take my infant daughter out for a stroll around our neighborhood. The air was crisp, the sun was gentle, and the peaceful silence was only broken by the soft cooing of my little girl. But peace was not something our HOA Karen ever allowed to last. Known for her cruel tongue and self-righteous attitude, she had made it her mission to make life miserable for families who didn't fit into her narrow view of perfection. As I passed near the clubhouse, she stormed out with a steaming cup of coffee in her hand, glaring as though my daughter's laughter had somehow offended her. Without a word, and in a fit of unprovoked rage, she hurled the scalding coffee straight at my baby stroller. My heart stopped as the cup flew, but by God's grace, the lid stayed on tightly enough to prevent the worst of the burns. A few drops splashed on my daughter's blanket, and she started crying in fright. I was frozen in disbelief, unable to comprehend how someone could harbor such hatred for an innocent infant. But before I could react, Karen's smug expression shifted into one of terror. She hadn't noticed that a police officer from the City Special Victims Unit was parked just across the street, sipping his own morning coffee and watching the whole thing unfold. He jumped out of his car instantly, stormed over, and demanded Karen stop in her tracks. Her face went pale as he identified himself and pulled out his badge. Neighbors gathered quickly, horrified by what they had just witnessed, and suddenly her usual arrogance crumbled. For years, she had bullied and intimidated others, always believing her connections in the HOA shielded her from consequences. But this time there was no escape. The officer called for backup, ensuring she would be charged for assault and child endangerment. As paramedics checked my baby and assured me she was safe, I couldn't help but feel grateful that justice had finally caught up to her. That day, Karen learned the hard way that cruelty, no matter how small or large, never goes unnoticed, and that even those who think they are untouchable will face accountability when they cross the line. The moral of the story is simple yet powerful. Those who use power to harm others will eventually be brought down by their own actions, while those who stand for love and protection will always find strength in truth and justice.